Today we're going to have a look at whether or not we can actually create a jump build that's worth its salt. Welcome to the Attic Dungeon. My name is Sam, and whether you want to jump high or jump far, I'm here to help you with everything. First off, the obligatory thank you moment, and though it's obligatory, it's very heartfelt. Sincerely, my greatest gratitude for watching my episodes. I hope you enjoy the content. I had fun creating today's episode, so I hope you have fun watching it. Don't forget to subscribe, click a bell, leave a like, leave a comment, don't leave a dislike, don't watch other YouTube channels anymore. You know, anything to help my greater glory become even grander. There we are, let's jump into today's episode. So yes, today I want to see if we can make a viable jump build. And what do I mean with viable? It has to have some use. Obviously there's builds out there that combine 3 classes and allow your character to jump thousands of feet with the right magical items and theory crafting and a benevolent dungeon master, of course. That's not really useful, and that's not the style that I tend to build. I tend to build stuff that kind of stretches something but makes it playable, or at least online by level 8 at the latest, and not level 13 or somewhat. So something that I really like superhero movies, is when they land. You know, they leap in, they fly in, whatever, and they do this cool boing, landing on the floor, the asphalt crackles a bit. I like that idea. So how do we get our D&D character to be able to leap an interesting amount of feet during combat, and what can we do with that? That is today's research, so to speak. I'll quickly go over how jump works, because it's a bit complicated and not a lot of people use jump as a mechanic, so it doesn't tend to be well known by people. Jumping is not an action. Let's begin there. Jumping is part of your movement. During your movement, you can decide to jump. If you want to jump far and you have had at least 10 feet of runway, let's say, you can jump as far as your strength score, not modifier, score. So if your barbarian has 16 strength at level 1, he'll be able to leap 16 feet when he jumps. Your movement, however, cannot exceed your jump cannot exceed your movement though. So you can't run your 30 feet and then jump 16 more, obviously. Then you would know the jump rules and people would be abusing them horribly. No, it has to be part of your, let's say, 30 feet movement that you have. So you could run 10, leap 16, run 4 more, 5 more if the DM's okay with it. I mean, if you don't have that 10 feet bit of runway, you can only jump half as far. If you want to jump up, it's your strength modifier that you jump up. And you can reach with your arms for a bit extra and stuff like that. So that is the thing to remember. Jump up, it's your modifier. Jump onward, it's your score. Now today we're mainly interested in jumping onward. We want to create some Hulk that leaps around the battlefield. And interestingly enough, this is going to lead me to the same class combination as last episode, namely a barbarian and a monk. There's other options here as well. Barbarian rogue could help really, could work really good. You could go into arcane trickster to actually pick up the jump spell and triple your distance that you can jump, but again you need a way to triple your movement as well, or it isn't going to scale very well. You could take thief, where it has an innate bonus to your jump, so that works as well. When you're looking at barbarian, last week I took totem warrior. You could do that again, but this time take tiger, because tiger gives you 10 feet extra jump distance long ways and 3 feet extra up ways. So those are solid passive buffs that you can use to create some kind of barbarian rogue jumper, I'm sure. But I wound up with a monk because of a very simple monk feature that helps you jump and doesn't rely on spellcasting, because obviously spellcasting and barbarians aren't the best of friends. So we're going to go barbarian monk again. It is going to be a completely different build from last time because it has a completely different goal. It is also here to test the waters for something else, where we get a bit nitpicky about the rules and unarmed combat and monk weapons and what have you. But Let's take this from the top, level 1. What are we playing? We're playing a tabaxi. Most of you that play a tabaxi will know they have this really cool feature called feline agility, where you can move on your turn in combat and you can, just because, double your movement speed, period. It's no action, bonus action, reaction, it's just a thing. The downside is it only recharged when you have not moved for a turn. So you go Sonic the Hedgehog in one turn and then you stand still on the other turn. It recharges, you can go Sonic the Hedgehog again. That's the basic idea of feline agility. Also not unimportant, felines, the tabaxi rather, have claw attacks. You can use your claw as a strength weapon, which is 1d6 plus your strength modifier. That's cool because we're going barbarian monk, so we'll work with that. We will definitely work with that. Also, you get free proficiencies in perception and stealth, which is good, to be honest. When we look at our ability scores, multi-class in barbarian and monk means we have to dump intelligence and charisma, I'm afraid. We will need maximum strength. I even advise you to go for 17 strength in this case, so putting the +2 of your tabaxi buff in strength and then just putting on 15 to gain 17. We're picking up a feat at level 4 that will even it out. 14 dexterity because you need dexterity for your armor class, you need dexterity for your monk multi-class. You need dexterity because it's 5e and dexterity is a stat that's way too good. 14 constitution because you're a barbarian and you actually want to be able to stand your ground. And then we need 13 wisdom for the multi-class into monk as well. So I hate uneven, like 13. I love the number 13, but I hate it as a D&D stat. It's not 14. The first levels of barbarian are pretty simple for us, of course. You are going to gain unarmored defense. Our armor class will be 14 and it's going to be stuck at that for quite a while. Now at the lower levels, until level 7 or whatever, you can use a shield actually, because we're not we're not using any monk abilities yet, so we're not restricted. So if you want, you can use a shield, though that might interfere with something from your subclass actually. We'll have to figure that out at some point. So if you want to up the defense, that's a thing. Also, this is a build where I would contemplate picking up extra constitution once you get your second ability modifier in ability score increase, because your con also increases your armor class, obviously. So there's that to be had as well if you want to pump the armor class, because you will be going in unarmored most of the time because you are going to use monk features. So we have our stats, we have our rage, we have at level 2 our reckless attack, which is also, if you do the barbarian rogue build, really fun because that guarantees your sneak attack, to be honest. But it starts at level 3. Let's go there. Barbarian level 3. I already said that the totem warrior gives you a solid increase to your jumping distance, but we're not picking that. We are picking the path of the beast because I like it, because it's good, and because it also has a way of increasing your jump distances. Path of the Beast has this cool feature that when you rage, you can pick whether you grow a muzzle, a tail, or claws. Usually we will be picking the claws. The claws work in a simple way that if you attack with a claw and your other hand is empty, so no shield, that's the trade-off, you can do another attack. And it's not a bonus action, it's just a free extra attack. So already at level 3 your barbarian has 2 attacks, which makes this a really powerful subclass in combat. But then again, we're talking barbarians, they're outside utility. So limited, that's why we're adding the jump. That way we can actually win some utility today. So there's danger sense. You get primal knowledge nowadays as well. You get an extra skill. Then we come to level 4. We are picking up skill expert. Now, something that you should have done, or if you haven't, you're doing it right now, is pick up a proficiency in athletics. And then further on, because of skill expert, you can pick up expertise and you're going to pump it into athletics as well. Easy stuff there. The ability score increase that you get from skill expert will obviously go into strength to even it out at 18, which is good because that's another foot of jumping distance. Goody goody. So at this point we're level 4. We can jump 18 feet if we have a 10 feet start, and I think we already have gained some unarmored fast movement. Is fast movement... No, I think it's level 5, isn't it? Yeah, it's level 5. So right now we can move 30 feet and we can jump a nice amount of 18 feet. So you can jump half your movement. Not that impressive. Let's pump up those numbers. We're going to level 5 where we get unarmored movement from the barbarian package, which means 10 extra feet of movement, 40 feet of movement. We also get extra attacks. So now you're clawing 3 times a turn without using any like bonus actions or whatever. You're just going rah rah rah. Okay, fun stuff. Level 6 is where the jumping begins. The beast barbarians get something called bestial soul, where at the end of each, I think it's short and long rest, you can improve something. Either I think you're climbing, you're swimming, or you're jumping. We're obviously going for the jumping. And what that does is each time that you jump, you can roll an athletics check and add the result of the roll to your jump. Now, at this point, we have a jolly good athletics. I obviously have the level 8 character sheet in front of me, so that will have a higher proficiency. I'm going to guess it's going to be 9 at level 6, if it's not already level 10. Quite possible, actually. So remember why I said that the tiger soul for a totem warrior gave you 10 feet extra? That's the bare... Even now, rolling a 1 on that athletics check is going to give you 11 feet extra on your jump. We're starting to get there. Obviously, if you roll a 20, suddenly you can jump 30 feet extra. That means out of your 50 feet of walking speed, you can suddenly jump 48. Which is not going to happen because you need 10 to launch yourself. But hey, it's nice knowing that you can jump as far as you can walk. Already now, you can take a nice leap, jump at someone and start clawing their guts out. I like that image, to be honest. But we are not done yet. We are going to put our barbarian levels to rest for now. We have everything that we want. We have rage damage, we have jumping distance, we have a nice set of claws. Let's dive into the monk bit. Now the level 1 monk stuff is going to give us not that much that we need. Obviously, we already have an unarmored defense. Martial arts feature is going to be a thing for us though, because we're going to squeeze out an extra attack here. They say when you attack, martial arts clearly dictates that when you attack with a monk weapon or unarmed, you can use your bonus action to do an extra unarmed attack. Now, my dear viewers, you should know that the claws from Beast Barbarian do not count as an unarmed attack. That would be a bit... they do count as natural weapons and hence are seen as simple weapons. They're not martial, obviously. They're simple weapons, which allows them to be monk weapons, which is cool because when you claw 3 times at this point with your angry claws, theoretically you could claw once more with your cat claws, but obviously that doesn't make sense. In my head, in my imagination, when this tabaxi warrior barbarian rages, it are their natural claws that grow into the beast claws. So it would be weird that there's like, I don't know, you gain Wolverine claws and then underneath there's tiny kitty claws. But obviously nothing stopping you from using a normal unarmed attack, which is going to be the same stats because you can use strength for your unarmed attack, but it's just going to be a d4 plus pain at this point. A d4 plus pain. I think it's a d4 plus 6 if you're raging, which is good fun, to be honest. So right now at level 7 you can have 4 attacks in any given round and 5 if you use flurry of blows. That is actually a lot. That is more than the monk would have, and that is more than the fighter, who is generally seen as the attacky guy together with the monk. You're out attacking them at this point. You're dealing a lot of damage because each of those attacks benefits from your rage and from your 18 strength that you have. So that is a lot of extra free damage, and that is where I dare to say that even though this is a jump oriented build, this can seriously output some damage pretty early on because of the beast barbarian, who is strong, and the moment you pick up the monk you're just doing more damage, albeit split over unarmed and not magical and this and that. It's a bit technical because it's different types of attack, and you have to keep track of your unarmed and your beast, and maybe if your dungeon master does allow the kitty claws, you can use those, but you know, the idea is there. So that's your monk business. Don't forget that you can take advantage on all 5 of those attacks if you use reckless attack. That is a hell of a lot of d20. Some crits will certainly follow, but everybody has an advantage towards you as well, of course. And while you're raging, you're taking half damage. Very important because low armor class and decent constitution. Level 2 is more important for us. You can do a few things here. First off, there's the optional feature dedicated weapon, where you can declare that a non-heavy, weapon, basically none of the two-handers, are also a monk weapon. So if you would be happen to wielding like a battle axe or a warhammer, this is now also a monk weapon. And that's good for when you're not in rage. You have a solid monk weapon that you can still follow up with a non-armed attack, which can be your kitty claw. So outside of rage, you can now do like a d10 swing with your warhammer and then follow up with your kitty claws, which is already good for outside of rage. Inside of rage, you have the combo that I just described. But more importantly, you gain key points. Obviously, I already talked about Flurry of Blows, which is going to pump up the number of attacks to 5 at this level, not at the previous level. I was 1 level too early there. You also have Patience Defense to dodge, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for Step of the Wind, which obviously allows you to take dash as a bonus action, so no punching that round. And your jump distance is doubled for the turn. Looky. Jump distance doubled for the turn. Interesting. How much did I say we could jump? Let's see. Anywhere between 29 and 50 feet, I think we were. So even if it's 29 and you double that, you are at this point jumping 58 feet per jump. Also, nobody says you can only jump once in a turn. It is not in the rules. You just have to have the movement for it. And you will have the movement because at this point you have 50 feet of walking speed, because monks also give unarmored movement in the form of extra movement to speed of 10 feet, and they stack. The barbarian one and the monk one stack, so there's no problem there. You have 50 speed of movement feet. If you dash with Step of the Wind, you have 100 movement speed, and you can leap 50 feet twice. Well, more probably. My calculations are gone. Let's do that again. You have 18 plus the 11 you'll always roll on athletics, so that is 29. If you roll a 20, you get plus 30, so then you have 48, and you double that. So, basically you're jumping 100 feet now as well. There we are. So you can do one ginormous jump. Obviously, you still need to take that 10 feet, or you can just jump half of the distance, which is still a very respectable distance. If you are at the 100 feet movement for a running long jump, you can now do a standing long jump of 50 feet. You can stand in your square, leap 50 feet to whatever the hell is bugging you, a spellcaster maybe, grapple them or claw them to that, but I think grappling is funny because then you can leap back. Don't forget, when you are grappling someone, your speed is half, but you have so much speed that we don't really care anymore. Now you're just a bouncing angry barbarian. And don't forget, you have the feline agility, so you could pump up your movement to 200 actually, so times 2, obviously. So if you have 200 feet of movement speed and you can leap 100 feet each, you could, that's assuming you roll a 20, but even with less, even if you can only jump the 29, let's say 30 feet times 2, if you can leap 60 feet in a time, you can just leap, grab something, leap back, run some more. Your mobility is incredible, and because of the leaping, it looks cool, and obviously you can avoid things like hazards on the ground. Honestly, if I was a dungeon master and you can leap 100 feet, I'm going to allow you to leap over people as well, because you're not just, horizontally catapulting yourself at this point. If you jump that far, you are making some height at some point as well. So I would allow this to jump over like medium-sized creatures, no worries whatsoever. And there you have what I call the superhero landing build. A barbarian monk who can run 200 feet and leap in leaps of 100 feet, which is super cool. Don't forget, in between two jumps, you would again need 10 feet to launch yourself again. So you'll never jump the full amount, but I can easily see this build performing 240 feet jumps in a 100 feet movement or whatever, or more if you have the 200 movement. Jumping does leave you open to opportunity attacks. That doesn't disappear. If you want to reduce the launching distance, there's another feat, but it's rarely used, the athlete feat. Yeah, it pops you another strength, and it reduces the amount you need to launch yourself to 5 feet. So you just step leap 50 feet, which is really, like, in my head, it's really weird. But I think it will classify as a legit Super Hulk jump. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make an angry leaping thing, and I succeeded. Huzzah for me. I'm going to try to play this build somewhere. Jumping around seems too fun not to do it. And I advise you to do the same. And if all goes well, my dear viewers, we'll see each other again in 2 weeks in the Attic Dungeon.